In this lecture, we will create a Hello World program using Bolt. The first step is to create an empty game object in the scene. To do this, we can right-click in the hierarchy and go to Create Empty. Then we need to add a machine component to this game object so that we can begin working with Bolt. To do this, we will select the empty game object, click the Add Component button in the inspector, and type Machine into the input field. The options that we have are Flow Machine and State Machine. We will select Flow Machine. As you can see, a Flow Machine component was added to our game object. Right now the macro field is empty. We need to create a flow macro to add here so that we can start building the graph. We will right-click in the project window and go to Create, Bolt, Flow Macro. We will select our empty game object and click and drag the flow macro into the macro field for the Flow Machine component. When we do this, you will notice that the Edit Graph button will become available. We will click this button, which will open up a window displaying our flow graph. Just like any other Unity window panel, we can click, drag, and drop the tab to dock it in the editor so that it isn't floating, but rather becomes part of our current layout. We are going to create a Hello World program, so we are going to need three things: a string variable of Hello World, Unity's start event, and Unity's debug.log method. Let's create the variable. We will go to Window, Variables. Then we will click the Object tab. After that, we will type the name of our variable, Hello World string, and then click the plus button. Then we will use the drop-down menu to assign the type, which in this case is string. After that comes the value, which will be the phrase Hello World. You will notice that this variable now appears in the inspector when we select our game object, but is not yet a part of our graph. To add it, we will right-click and go to Variables, Object, Get Object Variable. Now our variable is a part of the graph. To access the start function, we will right-click and go to Events, Lifecycle, Start. To access debug log, we can type debug.log into the search bar and then select it from the options presented. Now we have the three nodes, we just need to connect them. Let's plug our start event into the debug log node. Then we will plug our string variable into its message field. Great, our graph is linked up now. The final step is to run the code by hitting the play button in the editor. As you can see, the string Hello World was printed to the console. Great work. In the next lecture, we will learn about the basics of visual scripting.